Banky special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man. My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts.
Shout out to everybody out there on Team Banky Pound, man. I appreciate the love. Bam, 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 boom, boom. I appreciate the support. I truly, truly do. We're on the road to 100K, man. We're going to get there. Ain't have no doubt, have no fear. I believe in TBP. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. And we're just going to take off from there, man. We're going to spread this message out all across the world. You understand? We're going to save some lives and change some lives, man. So, today, man, I wanted to do this reaction video of something I seen. And I couldn't do it because it wouldn't let me remix the video, you know what I'm saying, or it wouldn't let me play the video. And so I just said that I just go ahead on and talk about it, which sparked another way to talk about it. In my mind, you know, it was like this dude did this video and he was saying, it was a white guy, you know, nerdy looking white guy. And I don't know what he went to prison for. I didn't see that. It was just a small clip. But he was saying about how he survived in prison. And he said when he first got in, you know, some big black guys snatched him up and dragged him in the bathroom and, you know, smacked him up, beat him up, and told him that, you know, they wanted money, you know, that he had to pay, you know, in order to stay out here on the yard. So he said that, you know, more or less he agreed or whatever, but he said he had no intentions on paying him. So he said his method was he went and found the biggest dudes on the yard and he befriended them. And he started buying them commissary because he had the money. So he started buying them commissary, and when he started buying them commissary, it looked like, you know, he was cool with them, and then they hung out with him, and, you know, because he was buying them commissary. And that, from the optics, made everybody else leave him alone because they felt like these dudes were extorting him, and if you get in their business, then you're going to have problems with them. So the other dudes who wanted to extort him, they didn't, you know, interfere because they saw he was with the big guys, and the big guys, whatever the big guys' reputation was. So the way he explained it was that he was getting over and that he was, you know, like more or less outsmarted the guys. But in actuality, you just stopped these dudes from extorting you, and you just chose who was going to extort you, you know. So, you know, in his, you know, perspective, you know, he did it. He just, you know, was able to choose who he was going to give his money to, you know what I'm saying, more or less. But it just made me think about, you know, that is a tactic, you know, that is a way for somebody new in prison who is not willing to fight or you know, pick that Bethlehem up and, you know, do whatever it is that they got to do. Of course, you know, you can find somebody in there that will, you know, gladly take your money for protection. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole lot of them in there that will gladly do that and take on the challenge, you know. And just because somebody is big in prison, I think a lot of people get that misconception because they big, that they, you know, they go hard, that they touch off, that they ain't, you know, people ain't gonna bother. Man, you got some of the biggest dudes in the world in prison, man. They soft as cotton candy. You know what I'm saying? They soft as cotton candy, but from the optics, they look dangerous, you know. But some of the smallest dudes in prisons is some of the most dangerous dudes I've known, you know what I'm saying? And that is actual and factual. And when I say small, I mean small. I know some dudes is, you know, pushing $130, and they push that Bethlehem, man, like a jackhammer. So, you know, size don't make no man, you know. It's the size of the heart that's in the man and what he's willing to do. But it just made me think about, you know, those type of survival tactics for somebody new that's coming in prison. And that is one, you know what I'm saying? That is a survival tactic if you're coming in prison, if you're willing to be extorted, if you have the money, to pay. Somebody will most definitely take up the challenge of taking that money, because everybody in prison need money. So somebody will definitely take up the challenge if you find the right person who has the heart and the reputation of, he ain't to be played with. Yeah, of course, if you friends with him, or you are up under him in any type of capacity, then he gonna take on every beef that you have. So you probably never gonna get touched, unless he get touched, and then he get gone, and then you on your own, and the whole process starts all over again. So yeah, that is a way, it's a couple of ways, and there's some ways that you probably never want to indulge in, but it is a reality. Like I said, being extorted is always going to be a problem in prison. No matter who you are, if somebody is going to come up to you and is going to try you and is going to test you. It's just a matter of how you going to, answer the test. And, then you got dudes that come in prison and they ain't got that type of heart. So they may want to try that, to pay somebody. But then what if you ain't got the money? If your family ain't got the money, if you ain't got the money, so then that option is out of the door. So then you have the dudes that come in there and they scared. They not about their life. They done got in trouble out on the street and did whatever they did, and then wind themselves up in prison, and they don't know what to do. Those are the guys who usually succumb to, the physical abuse. Usually end up being somebody's people. You know what I'm saying? And believe it or not, as crazy as it sounds, it's some dudes that choose that option. You know what I'm saying? They choose that option, you know what I'm saying, either reluctantly, or just because they feel like that's a better option than just getting stabbed, or getting, or taken advantage of by force or whatever. They choose to get up under somebody that's into that. And if they get up under somebody that's into that, that person will most definitely take up their beef, and there's a lot of cats in there that's with that. You know what I'm saying? So that option right there, to me, I wouldn't suggest that to any man, you know what I'm saying? Because once you lose your manhood, you can never get that back. You can never get that back. You may look at it, or some of them may look at it as a survival tactic, that's what they're gonna do to survive in prison, to make sure don't nobody, physically harm them or kill them or whatever the case may be. And then when that's all over and their bid is all over, they go home and they, pick up their life again. I don't agree with that. I feel like that if you ever give up your manhood, man, that's something that you cannot recapture. You can't get that back. That's just my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like you can get that back. I feel like that has, altered your life in ways that is more detrimental to you than if you were to, go out on your shield. You know what I'm saying? Pick that Bethlehem up, and that's just me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the best solution for survival in prison is, if you have put yourself in a position to be in prison, then you make your bed, you gotta lie in it. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta take on whatever it is that comes. If it comes down to you have to go to war, you have to hurt somebody in order not to be hurt, then that is what it is. And you may feel like, well, I ain't built like that. I ain't into violence. Where you put yourself in a violent situation. You see what I'm saying? You're not into the other stuff, but you're willing to do that in order to preserve your physical. So you got to be willing to do whatever. You know what I'm saying? You got to be willing to pick that Bethlehem up, man, and go to work. And if you don't prevail, you don't prevail, but you still a man. You understand? I feel like once you lose your manhood, you just can't get that back, man. And certain people, they willing to die, you know what I'm saying, before they succumb to that type of activity, man. So, yeah, it may sound crazy when I say out of my mouth that if I had to give somebody a suggestion, that's what I would say. You know, I would say pick that Bethlehem up, man, and protect yourself at all times. It's as simple as that. And I think, you know, eventually, even if you built like that or not, they're going to respect that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, prison is a place where they only respect violence. They only respect violence. They don't respect the loud talking. They don't respect threats. They don't respect size. They don't, you know, size may hold a person off for a second, but you gonna have dudes that's gonna see right through that. So it don't matter how big you is, how many muscles you got. It matters what type of work you gonna put in. And that work has to be a demonstration. You have to show that. You can't talk about it. You got to be about it. You know, you got some dudes that they talk their way through for a little while, but eventually somebody gonna pull that card and it's gonna be showtime and you gonna have to show up. So, you know, to me, that is the only way that you really gonna survive prison, man. Is to, I mean, the only way that I can say, and that's not even a sure way that you gonna survive, because just like you willing to pick up that Bethlehem, somebody else willing to pick it up as well. Somebody else may get the drop on you, but that's all part of the game. That's just how it go. That's just it. But I feel like that is your best way or your best road to survival and maintaining your identity, maintaining your self-respect, maintaining your pride, your, you know what I'm saying, your ethics, your morals, because it's got to be certain things that you just will not do. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that you want to kill somebody, that you want to hurt somebody, but you are in this position. And when you are in that position, it's either or. Either you do it or have it done to you. So that's the position that you in when you in prison. So these are decisions that you will be forced to make. You know what I'm saying? And dudes have to they have to come to that realization. And a lot of times when dudes first get to prison, that's just the part that just overwhelms them. Like, I can't do this, I can't, you know, and they check out either mentally, physically, you know, they just check out because it's so overwhelming that you're in this environment and this is how you got to live. But that's just what it is. This is why I preach all the time that you don't want to go to prison. You don't want to have no parts of being incarcerated, period, because it's a savage life. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be a savage to survive that. You have to be willing to do whatever it is that you got to do when it's time to do it. You know, and that's a hard call for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? But coming from where I came from and, you know, seeing streets, you know, seeing violence in the streets all the time, whether you participate in it or not, once you get in this position, man, and your back is against the wall, then it's either fight or flight, man, and you got to make that decision and you got to make it quick. You know, what I'm going to do, how I'm going to handle these situations, because trouble is definitely coming. You can rest assured that. It's as sure as grits is groceries. Somebody gonna get in your way. Somebody gonna get in your business. Somebody gonna try to, you know, pull some type of flim flam or some type of skullduggery or con. It's just gonna happen. You see what I'm saying? It's just gonna happen. And you know, when I seen the video and the dude say, "Oh yeah, well he's talking like he really did something slick. I went and picked the dudes, did the biggest dudes on the compound, and I befriended them, and I just started buying them commissary, and well, you being extorted. You know what I'm saying? Whether you chose the person or not, you just being extorted. You know, and then like I said, that's not a sure method, because those dudes can just be big. You know what I'm saying? With no heart. They can just be big with, you know, no kill in them, no gangster in them, period. You know, that's probably why they own the weight pile every day, you know, to try to keep that up off of them. But like I said, I've known dudes huge like that, man, huge, big, stay on the weight pile, lift everything out there, and ain't gonna bust a grape. You know what I'm saying? Ain't gonna bust a grape with steel-toed boots on, you know, it's not gonna happen. But, you know, it worked for him. And like I said, there is no sure method. I want to make that clear and understood. Even picking up the Bethlehem, there is no sure method of survival in prison. There is none. There's only insurance, you know, that you could put on yourself and say that if you are not going to survive, it's not going to be easy for nobody else to make sure you don't survive. And, you know, the only way I know is to just defend yourself, you know, against anything and anybody, you know, and have no have no hesitation about doing it. You know what I'm saying? Have no hesitation about doing it. And yeah, it's a horrible life to live. It's a horrible way to think. But when you're in these positions, you know, and you faced with this type of stuff, man, these type of decisions just got to be made. It's just got to be made. You know what I'm saying? Are you willing to die for something, you know, that's as great as, you know, your manhood? You have to be willing to die for that. Period. You have to be willing to die for that. You know, you have to be willing to die to have somebody take your commissary, or, you know, take your TV, or take your property that your people done sent their hard-earned money to get for you, and, you know, you just gonna let somebody take it, and they sitting in a room down the hall watching your TV while you sitting up in the room watching the walls. They sitting out at the table eating your commissary while you're sitting in the cell and your stomach is growling. Nah, man, that's got to be stuff you got to be willing to die for. Period. You know what I'm saying? You may eat it, but it's gonna be your last supper. You understand me? So these are things that you just gonna have to be willing to do. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to be willing to do it, because you will be tested and people will come at you with it. Because like I say, it's nobody in prison who has everything they need. And there's only one way to get it, and that's by force. If you ain't got that income, if you ain't got that support system, if people ain't sending you something, that's the only way to get it. Either go out there on the land and hustle for it, which is going to bring about the violence, or either you go take it, which is going to bring about the violence. So that's it. That's it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Even if you got to hustle, you still gonna have to be able to protect that hustle. You still gonna have to be able to secure that hustle. If you can do this or do that, somebody gonna want a piece of that. Somebody gonna wanna extort you for that, because you getting money and they gonna want money. So either way, it's gonna all boils down to the big V, man, to the big violence. So you gonna have to be willing to produce that, man, at the drop of a dime, and wherever the chips fall, they fall. But you just put yourself in the best position to win. You know, the best position to win, because there is no rules in war. Not one. The only rule is survival. And whatever it takes to do that, then that's what you have to be willing to do. You know, and the only option is better than that is to never be in prison, to never be in these situations. You know what I'm saying? Period. Because this is a life that's waiting for you if you go across that other side, man. This is the life that's waiting for you. These are the questions that you're going to have to answer. These are the positions that you're going to be put in, you know, and it's daily. It ain't no breaks. It ain't no timeouts. It ain't no, okay, I made a mistake. Let me reset. Let me start over. Nah, it's constant. It's constant. It's constant. It's constant. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, but... yeah, I seen that video, man, and it just made me just want to automatically react to it, man. I wish I could get it and pull it up and let y'all see it, man. But it's crazy. I might get a picture. I might just show the picture and see what it's like, man. Let y'all see what this cat looked like. Yeah, let me see if I can pull that up on this phone, because I couldn't get it to play, but maybe I can show the picture. Yeah, here you go. It says man gives the manual on how to survive prison as a civilian. And it says one day I got yanked into. Then it says find the biggest dude in jail and buy him commissary every week. Easy call. It's not that easy, man. It's not that easy. I don't know if y'all can see this. It's definitely not that easy. You know, so yeah, I just ran across that, man, and it sparked me to want to speak on it, man, and try to, you know, enlighten, you know, TBP, because like I say, people will put these things out there, and you know, that may have worked for him. I'm not doubting that at all. It may have worked for him, and looking at him, it probably did work for him, but it probably caused him some more problems that he probably don't want to talk about, that he probably don't want to put out there. Because just looking at him, for him to get around people like that and just befriend these big dudes and be just giving them money and buying them commissary every week, and people from the outside looking in. You got predators in there as well. They probably looking at him as like he's some people, he a boy or something, and these dudes are, you know, getting whatever they getting from him. So you have them, they will be focusing on you too. Those dudes might turn around and try to get rid of the big dudes that you so-called got for protection, and you just paying commissary to, because they may want something else from you, or they may want the commissary from you weekly as well. So you create a whole, you know, powder keg of things that might be going on, and from the optics of them looking at you, they already know now that you know, you're a Vic, you're a target. You know what I'm saying? Because you're willing to pay. You know what I'm saying? And it don't matter who you got. Like I say, it got to be somebody that's already certified and then already put in some work, and people is not willing to cross. You know, but you got to look at everything with that as well. Them people get transferred at the drop of a dime. What if he get gone? You know what I'm saying? Then what about all the people that's been waiting in line and seeing you paying and, you know, paying and paying and paying? Then there's a whole pack of wolves coming at you because they all want that money. You know, if those dudes was willing to keep them at bay, if they get gone, if they get hurt, if something happens to them, then what happens to you? You see what I'm saying? That's why I say the only insurance that you really have on your protection is you. What are you willing to do? Not what you're willing to get somebody else to do for you, because that person can have a change of heart. That person could change their mind. That person at the time of war can back down and say, okay, it's not worth me losing my life for somebody else. You see what I'm saying? So that's not a sure method as the way he explained it and make it like it's a sure thing, easy call. Nah, it's not that easy. It's not that easy, man. It's not that easy. When you put your life in the hands of others, there is no guarantee of survival, period. Because you don't know what they're going to do. I know real brothers, I mean real blood brothers, when it come down to that Bethlehem slinging, they not even going to jump in the way of that Bethlehem for their real, you know, biological brother. So do you think somebody is really going to jump in the way of that Bethlehem swinging for you for some money? If the person on the other end that they know is serious and don't care nothing about dying and he willing to go to war for this, nah, something not all the time. You have some in there, and don't get me, you got some that will go that route. They'll go that hard. But it's very rare, very rare, very rare. You understand me? And it's just not a sure method, man. It's not a sure method. You know what I'm saying? And me personally, I would never, you know, count on the police or anybody, you know, to protect my life better than I would. You know what I'm saying? Better than I would. Why? Because my life means more to me, I'm sure, than to anybody else. So I wouldn't count on administration. I wouldn't count on, you know, a homeboy. You know, I would put a certain amount of trust in people that I know and I feel like my brothers, people that I done been to war with, people that have shown and proved. You know what I'm saying? My brother Dixon, you know, Boo, you know, dudes that I know for sure that would go to war. You know, I have a certain level of trust with them watching my back. But me, ultimately me, gonna have to save me. And if you're in prison, ultimately you are going to have to save you. And if you depend on somebody else, you already have handicapped yourself. You know, so, you know, kudos to him. He got away. He made it out. He survived. He out here now. And he, you know, tell a few stories and, you know, probably get a few views for it. But I don't want that to mislead nobody to think that, okay, when I go to prison, all I got to do is find the biggest dudes in there and start buying them commissary and I'll be okay. Yeah, I wouldn't trust that. I would not trust that, not one iota, you know. But anyway, it just was a video that I just wanted to make right fast because I seen that and I wanted to talk about it. And you know, TVP, I talk to you because y'all talk back to me, you know. But anyway, man, y'all let me know y'all comments. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this video. Y'all let me know what your opinion is and what you think about what I said, man. And then ask yourself, man, what would you do? You know, what would you do? You know, and be honest with yourself, because a lot of people say, man, I ain't going for it. I do this, I do that. But actually ask yourself, if you actually faced with that type of adversity, that type of danger, what would you do? Do you know? And some people don't know and you won't know unless you actually are. But what do you think in your mind? Do you think you would rise to that type of level of, commitment to protect your life, and then ask yourself the bigger question, man, or block it in your brain that make sure you never have to answer those questions, because you make sure you never do anything or be anywhere or put yourself in any position to be in this position. That's the main thing, man. That is the main thing. Don't never put yourself in, these are the questions you should ask yourself when faced with these questions out here on the street. Should I go with this dude to do this? Should I get involved with that? Should I pull this scam, this flammery, this robbery, this, nah, because you're going to be dealing with this. Because you're going to be dealing with these questions. So that's what you need to have in your head when these things out here come up about getting involved with something that's going to put you in harm's way, that's going to put you in a position to be in prison and have to deal with this type of foolishness. That's what you should tell yourself. These are the questions. This is why these type of videos should be shown to some of these young people, man, that your nephews, your son, your nieces, and things like that, little youngins, man. That's why I want them to watch this, because I need them to understand that this is a life that is waiting for them if they choose it, if they choose it, So, like I said, man, y'all hit me in the comments. Y'all let me know, man. Talk to me. Y'all know I talk back. We rolling, man. We trying to teach them and reach them, man. But this right here was a video that I just wanted to make real quick, because I seen that and I wanted to put that information out there while it was at the top of my head. But y'all know I'll be back with y'all within 24 hours, man. Can't stay away. I love you, and I hope y'all love me back. So y'all be safe out there, be smart, man, make good decisions, and stay out of prison, man. It ain't nothing nice in there, man. Not one single solitary thing. Peace, love, and duck them hooks. We out here, man. We trying to save them.
The banking special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man. My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts.